Okay, let's see if this one works. Believe it or not, I already recorded this, but I forgot to turn on audio, so let's hope that the audio and all my electronics are working. So welcome to week 3, and thank you everybody for your introduction videos. I got through all of them that I was able to upload. There's 3 or 4 that I could not, and I've replied via email to each of you with suggestions on how to get those to me, other formats. And don't forget, folks, if you have any trouble, you can set up a one-to-one with me that will be in lieu of or replace the weekly vlogs that you produce on your own. Now, a couple of questions that you had in going through those. One, the length of videos. I get them everywhere from 45 seconds to I had one that was almost 15 minutes. I enjoy all of those, so feel free to use as much or as little time as you'd like. However, in the working world, when you're working with professionals, conciseness and efficiency with your words and your communication are very important. It's something to always work on, and so keep that in mind. But I have no preconceived notions of it being that formal here with us. We can chat, and you can explain to me in as much formality or as little formality as possible. As you're comfortable with, and we can go from there. So, hope that's vague enough. Clarification on content and receiving direction. Yeah, as you go further in your career and partially in this internship, the direction you will receive, not only from me, but from your bosses and your direct reports and all of these folks, will not be a checkbox. Here, do these tasks, write this report, make it look like this. It's not going to be that way. You're going to be given a problem to solve, and you won't receive a whole lot of direction. This will be up to you as to how to define that and how to deliver on whatever that task may be, or whatever that project may be or problem may be. So keep that in mind. You're not always going to get that specific direction. Some of you ask me for specific direction, but I got to tell you, and you got to get used to not necessarily receiving that. Early in your career, you may receive a little bit more of it, but I wouldn't get used to that. So you got to think on your feet now. A lot of you also are looking at the internship in terms of seeing if you really like this career, if you really like being in the wedding planning business, the corporate event business, the restaurant business, so on and so forth. Please take a look at that. I think that's a great litmus test for your desires in your future careers, but don't focus too narrowly on your opportunities. If you do that, you may be cutting out a whole lot of opportunities out there that you may not be aware of. Remember, when people leave companies or switch companies, 99% of the time, they're leaving people. They're not leaving the job itself. So take that into context there. Also, you're on stage. Try to use that on stage. This is just a piece of advice from me. Everything you do and say and how you act says something about you as a brand. And if you look at it as you're on stage, you're performing, every day you go to work or go to your internship, you are you're making a presentation or you're performing for your audience. Your audience can be your coworkers, and it can be your customer, or if you're working at a camp, it's going to be the camp attendees and the kids running around. All of which I think is fantastic. Also, if you're working online, if this is a virtual internship, everything you communicate virtually says something about you, and it is a presentation of your brand. You're still on stage, so keep all that in mind. Let's see. Feel free to ask questions. This is all a part of the internship. You need to ask questions. If you're confused about something, let me know what specifically you're confused about. Ask your supervisor as well, and be specific what you're confused about. And hopefully you'll get a good answer. And most of you seem to be at some really good internships, so you're being exposed to some really good leaders and managers. So don't be afraid to ask questions. One more thing that I noticed is you all are in the middle of a fantastic opportunity. You're getting some wonderful experience, and you're being exposed to things that a lot of people are not. You may not realize that. You may just think, hey, this is wonderful, but I'm, interning at the St. Louis Cardinals, and no kidding, everybody does. No, not everybody does. And you are experiencing things that you need to document, not only for your own, you can look back or tell your kids about, but you can learn from it when you document what's going on, either by photo, by video, even writing down, or these vlogs. Hang on to them, because it is something you can reflect back on. You can find out how you could have done things better. And also, almost more importantly, is when you go for another job, you can show some folks what you're doing. If you're in the event business and you say you transformed a space, a venue, into something fantastic, something magical, are you doing it from a VFW hall, or are you doing it from Crystal Bridges? There's a big difference there. And if you document it, you will be glad you did. So if you can take some time away when it does not affect, or take time away from your internship duties to do some recording, I think it'd be fantastic. Let's see. This week we're going to be talking about communications and supervision. I believe there's 4 videos there in TED Talks. And also so make sure you do that. Make sure you talk about that, reflect on that in your weekly vlogs. Let's see. Thank you, everybody, for asking about my Colorado trip. They were fantastic. Here's a quick video of me. I went above 14,000 feet at 2 peaks, and this is part of my training for a couple of summits that I'm going to hit later in the year, Kilimanjaro and Everest Base Camp. So I did this, and I bookended it with a great hotel called the Monarch in Black Hawk, Colorado. I lucked out. I just picked it off of a web search, and it was one of the best hotel casinos in the area. And I was within 45 minutes to an hour and a half drive of all the peaks that I wanted to hit this last week. And here's a video of me, real quick.
What an adventure this life is, huh? This is fun.
And of course, there's a photo of me. You can see there it's 10,000 or 14,000 feet up, and my heart rate was around 116, which is good. I want to keep it below 150. It's a resting heart rate at 14,000 feet. That's pretty good. I need to get it lower, and I will, but nonetheless, if you have any questions about that, about these climbing adventures, please let me know. Also, if you have any questions, of course, about your internship, I'm more than happy to talk to you about that. Have a great week, guys. It's wonderful to see your vlogs, and let's keep up the good work. Thanks.